Well, good afternoon to you. I'm meteorologist Alan Matthew here with a bit of a weather discussion regarding this afternoon's evolving severe weather threat for northern Mississippi. First things first, let's take a look at the radar here across the state. We've dealt with some showers for a large part of this morning, but now a lot of the rain activity and storm activity is moving off to the east into Alabama for this time. So we're going to enter a period of diminished activity, a little bit of a lull, so to speak, over the next several hours. This line of storms that you see developing back in central Arkansas, that is going to be the line that as it moves towards the Mississippi River Valley, we'll see some storms starting to initiate along it and maybe in front of it. Those are going to be the storms that have the highest potential to produce significant tornadoes. We'll talk about where specifically that threat is going to evolve for this afternoon. Let's take a closer look at the state, though. There's a tornado watch in effect for portions of Arkansas and Louisiana, but currently there are no severe weather watches or warnings in effect for the state of Mississippi. That will change as we get into the afternoon. You will see a watch box put up somewhere for northern Mississippi in the coming hours. Okay, here's an image that just shows you where the best instability and destabilization of the atmosphere is occurring. That's really along this axis here, going up into south central Arkansas at this time. And that's where we're going to start to see a lot of those storms initiate here in just a short while and then begin moving there as we go throughout the afternoon hours. Here's a look at the severe weather outlook issued by the SPC just this morning. An a moderate area of risk has been issued for a large chunk of northwestern Mississippi. Moderate is only one step down from the most severe category of severe weather threat. So this is a very high level of threat for northwestern Mississippi, and it includes places like Greenville, Greenwood, Mississippi. Tupelo, you are just outside of this area of greatest concern. Oxford, Mississippi, you're also in this as well. Places like Olive Branch, South Haven, Mississippi, Clarksdale, Mississippi, Grenada, Mississippi, and I think I mentioned Oxford. Yes, you guys will all be in the area for greatest risk of significant tornadoes, strong tornadoes. So if you're here in the GTR, the larger threat, the more significant threat is going to be focused primarily to our northwest. However, we're still very close to the threat, and because of that, all of you need to remain weather aware as well. If any warnings are issued for your location, take them seriously and get into a safe location. Again, this will all be evolving over the next few hours. Here's a look at helicity, updraft helicity, and that's just a fancy word that means updraft due to rotation. This is not a map of where we are going to see tornado paths, but that is what it is supposed to project. Simulated tornado paths across the northern half of Mississippi. You can really see that as you move into the northern half of the state, activity increases substantially up there around Oxford, Mississippi, going up into Tishomingo, Alcorn counties, then around just to the southeast of Memphis. So those locations, if you live there, your family and friends live there, you're traveling through there today, you need to be absolutely alert of the weather at all times. Make sure that you know what to do if you should get a warning issued. Take immediate action. Now let's look at some of the radar reflectivities. This is valid at 19Z. That's about 1 p.m. this afternoon. Storms are beginning to initiate along the Mississippi River. We'll move this forward about an hour. Things are really quickly progressing to the northeast. These are the storms that we're really concerned about here as the afternoon moves on. Each of these little cells here could be producing a tornado, and some of them could be significant tornadoes. So you can see the areas of greatest threat: South Haven, Olive Branch. You guys are right in the prime time risk area. This may not be what the radar looks like, so unfortunately I can't guarantee you that those specific locations will see it, but if you're in those places, be on the lookout. Again, we're going to move forward here an hour. This is now 3 p.m. You can see how the threat's moving a little bit to the east across the northern tier of the Mississippi state and along the Mississippi-Tennessee border. Here we go, 22Z. This is about 4 p.m. Activity really starting to fire up with the little bit of energy we've accumulated through the daytime. really well-defined line of storms here going down into north central Mississippi, really along the I-55 corridor, almost Oxford, Mississippi, places just to the north of that, maybe Water Valley, Holly Springs, Mississippi. You guys are going to be right in the crosshairs of some of these more significant tornadic storms. And also you see a little bit of development back here towards the south and east. So those are all storms and places that will have to be very much so on the watch. And here we go ahead another hour. This is going to be around 5 p.m. tonight. Activity really blossoming right there in the northern half of the state. Moving in there really close to Tupelo. So if you're in Tupelo, Mississippi, you are by no means out of the highest risk area. You're so close that you're going to have to take everything absolutely seriously. Here we are at 0Z. This is 6 p.m. tonight. Shows a substantial decrease in the activity, but we still have a lot of cellular storms, so the threat will continue even as we get into the evening. Here we are at 7 o'clock now. Still a trailing line of cellular storms. The risk will continue. All right, let's look at significant tornado parameter. This is something that we use to just give us an idea of how strong the tornado potential is. This is the northern half of the state here, and some of these values are almost completely maxed out as you get up around Oxford, Grenada, Mississippi, and even a little bit here to the south. This is valid at about 2 p.m. this afternoon. We advance it forward to 3 p.m. Lots of potential here for tornadic development across the state. And then here, this is 4 p.m. This is even a little bit to our west here, even to the southwest a little bit of the Golden Triangle region. So we're going to need to be on the lookout around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. here in the Golden Triangle for these storms to begin to develop into tornadoes. Here we go. This is 5 p.m. Greatest potential probably for tornadic development is right during this time frame. This is the latest information, and it could change a little bit as we go throughout today, but this is starting to create a clearer picture of when specifically the threat will be. And then really along the Highway 45 corridor extending from Columbus up to Tupelo, you have just maxed out values where you could see a significant development of a tornado during that time frame. So if you're on Highway 45 between really 5 and 6 and 7 o'clock, you got to be extremely careful and ready to get off the roads in a heartbeat if necessary. So here's the bottom line. As we head into the afternoon, all modes of severe weather are going to be likely. The tornado threat will obviously be the leading concern as we head into the afternoon. You can expect several tornadoes, and a few of those could be on the stronger end, especially if you live in that moderate area of risk. If you live in that area, you are at the greatest risk for seeing a few strong tornadoes throughout today. Other threats include damaging winds. Heavy rainfall will also be a big threat with any storms that move through. Could lead to some localized flash flooding in places that are prone to that. Hail, also another concern. Some of the hail could be greater than 1 inch in diameter, maybe even up to 2 inches. Lightning is always a concern. If you're outdoors, be wary of lightning in your area. Lightning can strike anywhere, and it can strike the same place multiple times. So be informed of that. The key to staying safe today and decreasing the likelihood that you will be caught up in the crosshairs of severe weather unprepared is to stay weather alert. Have several methods of warning as you go throughout the afternoon. Unfortunately, if you're in my portion of the state, the GTR region, the radio transmitter tower is still only giving intermittent signals at this time. It will not be repaired until after the new year. So if you were going to use your NOAA weather radio as your primary source of weather information, you need another source of information to be your primary source. You can get on social media such as Facebook or Twitter or even Periscope and follow meteorologists such as myself for the current weather updates. There's several local stations that have their apps you can download for free and then watch streaming video if there should be a tornado warning issued. And of course, those are all excellent ways to get the warning as we go into this afternoon. So be well informed. Have several methods of information. Make sure your cell phones and your devices are fully charged going into this in the event that we should lose power. And then last but not least, of course, you can always follow me on Twitter and on Facebook, Periscope. Maybe I'll be on Periscope, we'll see. But I will be tweeting and posting throughout the day to keep you guys as up to date as possible. So this is the latest information. And again, this is a fluid situation. If there are any significant updates regarding the forecast, any shift in the areas or timing of the severe weather threat, I will be sure to update you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe afternoon. Please be weather alert.